we're now just 3 weeks away from the Saudi fight night in Riyadh, December the 23rd. It's a card that involves Joshua and involves Wilder, but the two won't fight each other, although they are fighting. Anthony Joshua will fight Wallen and Wilder will fight Parker. That apart, there are a number of big fights on the undercard as well. So certainly it wets a whistle if you are a fight fan. For that, we're going to go down under live now. We're going to head to Australia. We're going to speak live to the IBF Cruiserweight champion. Simon, you've been telling me about this fella. Jai Opetaia joins us live on the show. Jai, how are you?
I'm good, thank you, boys.
There you are. We can see you. We've got viewers live watching today, Jai, on YouTube and Facebook. We're delighted we can see you as well as hear you. Tell me this then. You're on the undercard in Saudi. You're taking on the UK's Ellis Zorro. How do you feel about this? It's fast approaching. How do you feel about your own condition and your own prospects?
Well, good, man. I'm ready to put on a big show on the card. You know, I'm honored to be a part of such a huge, the biggest boxing card I've ever seen. You know what I mean? And I'm ready to make history with the boys.
What was your initial reaction, Jai, when you heard that you were going to be on the undercard on a night that features Anthony Joshua, that features Deontay Wilder?
About time. You know what I mean? I've put in the hard work. I've been boxing my whole life. So being up there on that stage at that press conference, just fruits of the labor. You know what I mean? I earned my spot there. And, I've earned to be there. And now I just got to earn my way up closer to the main event.
That's the kind of self-assured talk that you like, Simon, isn't it?
Because it's merited. Because if you watch this fella's performances in winning the world title against Breedis and dismantling... Jordan Thomas is a level beneath him. Jordan Thompson, sorry. But Jai went in there and demolished him.
Maris Breedis.
Yeah. That's to win the world title. In his most recent defence of it, he demolished an undefeated British fighter that people had optimism for, but Jai was on a different level. So I think it's great. I think it's great for this division. It's a division that we in Britain have engagement with because we've got a world champion in Chris Smith. We've got people like Lawrence Okoli. And obviously we've got Richard Riakporhe. What's your trajectory, Jai? I mean, obviously it's great for you to be on that bill. There's a lot of names there. It's a big event, big spectacle, and it's nice to see the cruiserweight division there. What are you after? Where are you going, mate?
I've still got a lot of boxes to tick as a cruiserweight. I've still got a lot of unfinished business. I currently hold the IBF and Ringside Magazine World Champion. But I want more. I want more of the belts. I want all the belts.
As I was going to say, do you want to unify the division? Is that what your objective is? And then possibly once you've done that, similar to Usyk, maybe you move up?
Definitely. That's the goal.
Yeah.
I really want to unify the division. It's going to be, I think it's going to be a bit hard to do, but I feel like it's doable just because of, the promoters and stuff like that not getting along and just absolute bullshit, to be honest. They hold us fighters back from reaching our full potential and stuff like that. But, I'm hoping it all gets sorted and I'll be able to unify the division or, we can just have some unification fights.
Where would you be if you were looking next? I mean, Ellis Zorro is a fight you've got to contend with. I personally think, with due respect to him, he's an opponent that's worthy to be in the ring with you, but I think you're on a different level. Where would you go next, Jai? Would you go... We've got Chris Smith fighting on the weekend, which in a fight that we think he'll come through. Where would you go? Would you go WBA route against Gulamoran? Would you go the WBO route? What's on your mindset? Because those fights can be made despite your proclamation that the promoters aren't very helpful.
Hey, whoever wants it. Whatever one puts their hands up first, let's make it happen.
You're just ready to go. Certainly, you've shown that, Jai, whenever you fight. I mean, what we talking your record? 23 fights, 23 wins, and 18 by knockout.
Yeah.
We're getting there. We train very hard, and when it comes time to perform, we perform. This is all that matters to me in my life at the moment. I'm on a mission to collect these belts and win these fights. So, I'm not letting anything get in my way.
Listen, Jai, expand on what you just said. There's a feeling that you have, I think, that on certain occasions promoters have held you back, have they?
You know, I feel like some promoters don't get along, and it stops big fights from happening. You know, but that's when the business gets involved with boxing, and unfortunately, these things happen. I mean, like, look at the fight night that I'm a part of. You know what I mean? Promoters have come together, and now they're putting on the biggest boxing card in history. You know, these are the things that can happen if promoters put their ego aside and actually work together and build up the sport, because this is huge.
But that's money,
this
Jai,
is
isn't it?
building our sport up in massive. It is, but at the same time, you know, it's. I feel like they've taken a step back, and it's more about the fighters as well. You know, there's just huge fights being made now, and
it's about
you know,
money,
The
Jai.
future's exciting.
But he's got a point though, Simon, hasn't he? I mean, we've got a bunch of promoters who undoubtedly are egotistical, and they show it.
Well, fighters are egotistical. We're all egotistical.
Yeah, but fighters are the important guys.
Of course they are. But
Jai's the important guy.
Of course they are. And ultimately,
exactly.
The reasons why, I mean, it's not difficult, is it? The reasons why this fight is happening, these fights are happening, it's because the Saudis have stepped in and paid everybody the money that they wanted. So you take all the divisions out of the room. You take all the arguments out of the room. You take all the egos out of the room. Frank can get on with Eddie. Eddie can get on with Kala. Kala can get on with Ben Shalom. Everyone can get on with one another because there's no arguments about money because there's plenty of it. Who are you with? Who looks after you, Jai?
I'm with Tasman Fighters and Matchroom at the moment.
Right, and I'm assuming, given that you're with Matchroom, you must be quite happy with them.
Yeah, for sure. And, you know, and I'm proud that they've, you know, worked together to make these big fight nights happen.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with Jai, though. I mean, it should be more about the fighters than it is at the moment, Simon. We talk too much about these feuding promoters.
But the promoters are, to some extent, I imagine that Frank Warren has absolutely no control over Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury does precisely what he wants, and Frank Warren's quite happy to allow him to do that because he's the money in the particular room. And Jai's in an interesting division because he will know that the cruiserweight division doesn't necessarily pay the kind of returns, which is why Holyfield stepped up, which is why Usyk stepped up, and which is why this guy will step up. But this guy, I'm talking about you, Jai, is top of the class in my view in the cruiserweight division. He is absolutely world class.
Sure, we're very excited about seeing you in action on December the 23rd. Jai, how do you rate some of our fellas in your division, like Chris Billam-Smith?
Yeah, I think the UK has a huge variety of great fighters in the cruiserweight division. You know, I feel like there's great fights to be made over there. And it's exciting times for the cruiserweight division. You know, it's growing, and it's getting more notice. And even me being on such a big card like this, you know, it's not normal to see a cruiserweight on a big heavyweight card like this. You know what I mean? They sort of look at the cruiserweight division like it's a bit, you know, these aren't heavyweights yet, but we're getting recognition. We're getting good fights here, and we're generating a lot more money. So, you know, and I'm proud to be on the front line of leading the cruiserweight division into a better path. So, you know, it's exciting, man. I'm pumped, but at the same time, I've earned it. I deserve to be here. I deserve to be on these big stages. I've done the hard work, and I continue to do the hard work every day.
Excellent, love it. When do you head to Saudi then, Jai?
I'm not quite sure with the date yet. I think we'll be about 2 weeks or maybe like around that 10 days before the fight. But
and what can Jai Opetaia promise us on that night? What we're going to see from you on the night in question, December the 23rd?
All my hard work just goes put to work. You know what I mean? We've been training extremely hard. I'm ready for anything they bring out, you know, on the other side of that ring. I'm just pumped to get in there. You know, I do all these interviews and I talk about fighting, but what I'm good at is actually fighting and boxing. So I just cannot wait to get in the ring.
Jai, thank you very much indeed. Great to speak to you. We shall see you, obviously, when you're out there, and we wish you well against Ellis Zorro. Jai Opetaia joining us here from Australia before he heads to Saudi Arabia. This fella's focused. He knows what he wants, doesn't he?
He is. I mean, I would like to see him in against someone a little bit high up the rankings in the number 11 in one of the divisions, and he will win that fight. And as you can hear, he's not short of confidence. Interesting to see him in against a couple of our guys. Yeah. Against Riakporhe.
Looking forward to it.